Welcome back to Bhagavad Gita, ancient wisdom for modern life. In our last chapter, we walked with Arjuna on the path of self-mastery. Krishna illuminated the interconnected paths of selfless action, karma yoga, divine knowledge, Jnana Yoga, and the steady practice of meditation, Dhyana Yoga. He gave Arjuna the tools to sanctify his work, understand his true nature, and tame his restless mind. He concluded by declaring that the highest yogi is one who, with great faith, always abides in me. But this raises the ultimate question: who is this me? Who is this Krishna who speaks as a friend, yet with the authority of the cosmos? We now arrive at a pivotal turning point in the Gita. The focus shifts from the path of the seeker to the glorious nature of the sought. In this chapter, the divine knowledge and inner vision, Krishna will begin to pull back the curtain on reality itself. He will reveal his own divine nature as the source of all existence, explain the mysterious force of Maya that deludes us, and show how devotion born from this understanding is the ultimate path to freedom. The scene on the battlefield remains unchanged. The two armies stand poised, but the conversation within the chariot is about to transcend the battlefield entirely and expand into the cosmos. Krishna turns to Arjuna, his beloved friend and disciple, and makes a promise. Now hear, O Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with your mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. I shall now declare to you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Krishna begins by explaining the substance of reality. He describes his two fundamental energies. First, the material energy, or prakriti. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego altogether, these 8 constitute my separated material energies. He then describes his second higher energy. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another, superior energy of mine, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material, inferior nature. This is a profound concept. Krishna is saying that the entire physical universe, from the dirt beneath our feet to the thoughts in our head, is his energy. But superior to all of this matter is life itself, consciousness, the Jivatma, or the individual soul. He is the source of both. He is the origin and the dissolution of everything, both material and spiritual. He then gives one of the most beautiful and famous analogies in all of Scripture to explain his relationship with the universe. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung on a thread. He continues, explaining how he is the essence within all things. I am the taste of water, the light of the sun, and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether, an ability in man. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat and fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penance of all ascetics. Having revealed that he is the source of everything, he now explains why most people cannot see him. He introduces the powerful and mysterious concept of Maya. Maya is a crucial concept in Indian philosophy. It is often translated as illusion, but a better understanding is divine. It's bewildering energy. It is not that the world is unreal, but that our perception of it is veiled. Maya is the cosmic fog created by the 3 gunas, or modes of nature, that makes us forget our true spiritual self and identify with the temporary body and material world. Krishna explains this divine veil. Deluded by the 3 modes, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. This divine energy of mine consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. He then describes 4 kinds of people who do not surrender to him: the foolish, the lowest of mankind, those whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and those with a demonic nature. But he also describes 4 kinds of virtuous people who do seek him out. O best among the Bharatas! 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me, the distressed: the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. He states that of these 4, the one who is in full knowledge and is engaged in pure devotion is the best, because such a person is dear to him, and he is dear to them. He concludes the chapter by explaining that only those who are truly intelligent, whose illusion has been dispelled, can surrender to him as the cause of all causes and know him fully even at the hour of death. For centuries, modern science has been on a quest for a theory of everything, a single, elegant equation that could unite the forces of the cosmos, explaining everything from the motion of galaxies to the behavior of subatomic particles. In this chapter, Krishna presents himself as the ultimate unified field. He says that matter, energy, consciousness, life itself, it all emanates from a single, conscious source. Him. The beautiful patterns in a snowflake, the laws of physics, the creative impulse of an artist, the love a mother feels for her child, of these, he says, are like different pearls, but they are all strung on the same single thread of his divine energy. This is a profoundly holistic and integrated vision of reality. But if this is true, why don't we feel it? Krishna's answer is Maya, and the Maya of the 21st century is more powerful and bewildering than ever. It is the endless scroll of social media that convinces us that our worth is measured in likes. It is the 24/7 news cycle that keeps us in a state of anxiety and division. It is the relentless hum of consumer culture that tells us the next purchase will finally make us happy. This is the modern veil. It is the constant external noise that prevents us from hearing the subtle, internal signal of our own consciousness, our own Atman. Krishna says this veil is difficult to overcome, but he gives a simple, powerful solution: surrender. In a modern context, this doesn't mean giving up. It means consciously choosing to turn your attention away from the noise and toward the source. It means seeking out moments of quiet. It means looking for the thread of connection, beauty, and purpose that runs through your life. It means choosing to believe that reality is not a random accident, but a meaningful, conscious, and unified whole. Krishna's closing words in the previous chapter, mentioning those who know him even at the hour of death, prompt Arjuna to ask a series of deep philosophical questions. He wants to understand the ultimate nature of reality and the process of transcendence. O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the Self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation, and what are the demigods? And how does the Lord of Sacrifice live in the body? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Krishna answers each of these technical questions, defining the key terms of Vedic philosophy. But he quickly focuses on the last, most practical, and most universally important question: how to remember the divine at the moment of death. His answer is the central teaching of this chapter. And whoever, at the end of his life, quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kanti, that state he will attain without fail. This is a core principle of consciousness. The dominant thoughts and desires that we cultivate throughout our entire life culminate in our final thought at the moment of death. and that final thought determines our next destination. It is the ultimate test of what we truly valued. Therefore, Krishna gives Arjuna a clear instruction. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time, carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. He explains that through constant practice abhyasa, Yoga 1 can train the mind to remain fixed on the Supreme. He describes this Supreme Person as one who knows everything, as the oldest, the controller, smaller than the smallest, the maintainer of everything. Beyond all material conception, and luminous like the sun, he then describes the esoteric process by which accomplished yogis leave their bodies, withdrawing their senses, fixing the mind on the heart, and drawing the life air to the top of the head, vibrating the sacred syllable, Om. But he follows this difficult, technical path with a much simpler and more accessible one for his devotee. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. He explains that the great souls who attain him never return to this temporary world, which he describes as being full of miseries. He then puts our human lifespan into a cosmic perspective, describing the immense time scale of the universe, the day and night of Brahma, which lasts for billions of years. All manifested beings, he says, come into being at the dawn of Brahma's day and are annihilated at the fall of his night. But beyond this endless cycle of creation and destruction, there is another, unmanifested and eternal nature. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, a place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. He concludes the chapter by stating that this supreme abode can be reached only by unalloyed devotion. And he describes the specific cosmic timings by which yogis depart either to return to this world or to never return. But he ends with the final reassurance that a devotee of Bhuta is not concerned with these technicalities. For by the path of pure devotion, they are guaranteed to attain the supreme result. Modern reflection 2. Living a life worthy of your last thoughts. Krishna's teaching on the moment of death is sobering and intensely practical. It forces us to confront the ultimate question. What is the purpose of all this? Our careers, our projects, our ambitions, our relationships, where is it all leading? The Gita suggests that the true measure of a successful life is the quality of our consciousness in our final moments. Will our mind be filled with regret, with unfinished business, with attachment to the things we are leaving behind? Or will it be filled with peace, acceptance, and love? Krishna's advice, always think of me and carry out your duty, is a formula for living a life of purpose. It means infusing our daily actions, however mundane, with a higher awareness. It's about practicing remembrance. When you are working, remember your higher purpose. When you are with loved ones, remember to be truly present. When you experience beauty, remember the source of that beauty. This practice transforms life from a series of disconnected events into a continuous, mindful pilgrimage. Every day becomes a preparation. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen your spiritual resolve. Every act of kindness becomes a deposit in your spiritual bank account. This isn't about being morbid. It's about being incredibly alive. Knowing that your time is finite is the greatest motivator to live fully and authentically. The wisdom of this chapter encourages us to live in such a way that when our final moment arrives, our last thought will not be one of fear or regret, but a natural, peaceful culmination of a life lived with love, purpose, and a connection to the divine. Part 3. The most confidential knowledge. Krishna now prepares to reveal what he calls Rauhavidya, the king of all knowledge, the most secret and confidential of all truths. He speaks to Arjuna with great affection, knowing he is a receptive and non-envious soul. My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you will be relieved of the miseries of material existence. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. He begins to describe his paradoxical relationship with the universe. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. This is a subtle but crucial point. Krishna is explaining that while everything is his energy, he remains distinct and aloof. Just as a king is the source of all government activity, but is not personally involved in every bureaucratic task. The sun pervades the world with its light and heat, but the sun itself remains separate. In the same way, Krishna supports the entire cosmos, yet remains transcendent. He explains how, under his supervision, material nature produces all moving and unmoving beings. Yet deluded fools, he says, mock him when he descends in human form, not knowing his supreme nature. The great souls, the Mahatmas, however, are different. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. He then declares that he is the ritual, the sacrifice, the offering, the healing herb, the chant, the butter, the fire, and the offering. He is the Father of the universe, the Mother, the Supporter, and the Grandsire. He is the goal, the Sustainer, the Master, the Witness, the Abode, the Refuge, and the most dear friend. He is the origin, the dissolution, the foundation, the resting place, and the eternal seed. Then, in a series of incredibly beautiful and intimate verses, Krishna reveals the simplicity and power of the path of Bhakti Yoga, or pure devotion. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. He follows this with a practical instruction that brings this devotional spirit into every aspect of life. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. He makes two final, powerful promises to his devotees. First, he promises to personally care for their needs. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form to them, I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. And finally, he makes the ultimate declaration of his grace and protection, stating that even if one commits the most abominable action, if they are engaged in pure devotion, they are to be considered saintly. And he makes this ultimate promise. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti. Declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Modern Reflection 3. The power of a simple offering. In a world that often measures spirituality by the grandeur of its cathedrals, the complexity of its rituals, or the austerity of its practices, Krishna's teaching in this chapter is a revolutionary act of love. A leaf, a flower, a fruit, some water. He is not asking for greatness. He is asking for sincerity. He is not asking for perfection. He is asking for love. This is the democratization of the spiritual path. It tells us that we don't need to be a scholar, a monk, or a great yogi to connect with the divine. The smallest act, when infused with a spirit of loving offering, becomes a profound sacrament. How can we practice this? The food you cook for your family, prepare it with care, and silently offer it with love before it is eaten. The work you do at your desk, do it with focus and integrity as an offering of your unique skills to the world. The kindness you show a stranger, the dollar you give to someone in need, the time you spend truly listening to a friend, these are your leaves, your flowers, your fruits. Krishna is instruction 2. Do everything as an offering to me as a formula for transforming the mundane into the miraculous. It turns everyday life into a continuous, flowing prayer. And his promise, my devotee never perishes, is a source of immense strength. It means that the sincere effort of a loving heart is never lost. In a world that can feel cold and indifferent, the path of bhakti is a reminder that the ultimate reality is a personal, loving consciousness that sees values and cherishes the simple, heartfelt offerings of a devoted soul. Part 4. The opulence of the absolute Arjuna. Having heard of Krishna's intimate and personal nature, is now filled with a desire to understand his vast cosmic and impersonal aspect. He has heard the confidential knowledge and his illusion is dissipating. He accepts Krishna as the Supreme Lord and now makes a request. He wants to know how to see and meditate on God in the world around him. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, please tell me in detail of your divine opulences, by which you pervade all these worlds. How shall I constantly think of you, and in what various forms are you to be remembered? Tell me again in detail, for I am never satiated in hearing your ambrosial words. Krishna, pleased with this request, agrees. But he states that his splendors are infinite, so he will only describe the most prominent of his divine opulences, or vibhutis. What follows is a magnificent, poetic, and breathtaking tours of the cosmos, designed to train the eye to see God's glory in the pinnacle of every category of existence. I am the Supersoul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Of the Odysseus, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Maritzi. And among the stars I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force. Of the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth. Of the Vashas, I am fire. And of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brahaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Brig. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Citarada, and among perfected beings I am the sage Kapila. The list continues, a torrent of divine associations. He is the thunderbolt among weapons, the lion among beasts, the sacred Ganges among rivers. He is the beginning, middle, and end of all creation. He is the knowledge among sciences, the logic among arguments, the letter A among alphabets. He is all-devouring death and the generating principle of all that is to be. Among the feminine qualities, he is fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. After this incredible display, Krishna brings this chapter to a powerful conclusion, summarizing the essence of his opulence. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Final modern reflection. Finding the divine in the details, Arjuna's request is our own. In a world that can often seem chaotic and random, we yearn to see a pattern, to find the divine signature in the fabric of reality. Krishna's answer is a practical guide to the yoga of awe. He is teaching us how to see the world not as a collection of mundane objects, but as a gallery of divine masterpieces. This is a practice of conscious appreciation. When you see a majestic mountain range, you can see the Himalayas and think of the divine's unshakable strength. When you are mesmerized by the vastness of the ocean, you can remember that it is a reflection of God's infinite nature. When you are inspired by a brilliant leader, a genius scientist, or a compassionate humanitarian, you are witnessing a spark of that divine opulence. This connects directly to the modern experience of science and cosmology. When astronomers with the Hubble telescope show us images of galaxies being born, nebulae glowing with the light of 1 trillion suns, we are seeing Krishna's vibhutis. When a biologist marvels at the intricate code of DNA, they are reading the divine's language. The feeling of wonder that a beautiful piece of music or a powerful work of art can evoke is a direct perception of this divine splendor. Krishna's final statement is perhaps the most humbling and inspiring of all. All of this majesty, all of this beauty, every galaxy, every star, every hero, every genius that has ever existed, all of it, is supported by just a single fragment of his being. This practice of seeing God in the details transforms the world. It turns a simple walk in nature into a pilgrimage, a visit to a museum into a temple tour, and reading the news about human excellence into a scripture. It is the ultimate practice of gratitude, a way to live in a constant state of wonder. Long, off-filled pause conclusion, an invitation to the next chapter, tone warm. Summarizing with anticipation in this chapter of divine knowledge, Krishna has lifted the veil. He has revealed himself as the source of all that is, the hidden thread in the cosmic tapestry. He has explained the journey of the soul, the intimate power of devotion, and the art of seeing his glory in all of creation. Arjuna has now heard of Krishna's infinite opulence. His faith is firm, but to hear about greatness is one thing. To witness it is another. A profound desire has now been awakened in him. Desire not just to hear about the cosmos, but to see it. To behold the universal form of the Lord with his own eyes. His request and Krishna's divine response will become the dramatic and terrifying climax of the entire Bhagavad Gita. We invite you to join us for our next truly epic chapter, the Yoga of Devotion and the Supreme Vision, where Arjuna will be granted divine sight and will witness Krishna's breathtaking and fearsome cosmic form. You have been listening to Bhagavad Gita, Ancient Wisdom for Modern Life, a Wealth Waves production. Thank you for your continued presence on this sacred journey.